Good morning, ladies. My name is Edna Alvarado, and I'm so glad to be here. This class is directed to the attendees and the future attendees of the class that we did at the Mali's Crop in the Bronx on Saturday, October 18th. I know it's October 21st. I had a couple of busy days and I wanted to do this video so then that way Desiree can have it in her files and the ladies that attended just as well, you can save this in your files and have it for future reference. We were not able to record the class at the time on Zoom, so I told Desiree not to worry about it and that I would create a video. So this is what I had shown before, and this is a TriFold multi-pocket folio. You can use these to send out happy mails. You can create this for someone's birthday. You can create it for just about anything that you may want to send to someone. And if you're a recent mom or recent grandmother, you can go ahead and use 12 by 12 non-directional paper and also create a little album that you can brag to your friends and family. And you never know, if there's a new mother and you have some pictures of the baby. Some people here do scrapbooking. You can go ahead and create the tags with a little section to insert photos and so on and so forth. So this trifold multi-pocket, it's just as good for just about anything. So this is the one that I had showed in the class, and we're going to be using today this 12 by 12 sheet because that's all you need, just one sheet of 12 by 12. It could be double-sided. Make sure that if it has print, it's non-directional. Um, you can use single-sided paper, just that the inside is going to be white, or you can use just a plain solid color and then decorate it from there. But let me show you really quick, even though I showed this in the class. Your embellishment is totally entirely up to you how you want to decorate it and what occasion are you decorating it for. So, we have a lot of wonderful crafty ladies out there, and um, you can create just about anything. In this one, I decided after I created it for the class that I'm going to give it to someone very special. I did decorate my little bottle. As you can see, I have some over here that I filled with pictures. You can put a tiny baby picture in there and then fill it up with glass or um, glitter, whatever you like. And of course, we all know how to decorate our tags. There's many ways of creating tags. This one, I use the eyelash. This one, I was playing with the stencil butter that Damali has, and she has them in a lot of colors, and I only did the front. Um, and of course, as you can see, there's a pocket in the front, and there is a pocket on the side here. So this one I haven't decorated the tag. So the front, however you decorate it, is totally entirely up to you. When you open it up, you will have pocket here. You can either put Velcro or I will show you in another one that I made. You can glue this like halfway from here down and you can slide this over. If you're putting trim up here, I don't recommend for you to use that. If you're not going to do anything to decorate it, then you may want to use the circle. This pocket, what I chose to do was I took everything and I tied it with a little bit of organza ribbon, and these are things that I'm going to be sending the young lady that I'm making it for. So I'm sending her some twine. I'm sending her a card, a tag that has vellum. You could make them with vellum or you can make them with acetate. And I'm enclosing a little tag that you can either put a picture in the front or do some writing in the back. So all of this gets tied in here. Now, I did a notebook with the paper because the paper series that I'm using is Crafter's Companion, and I had a lot of paper, and I went ahead and I created a pad. This can also, for the scrapbooking ladies, you are very creative. You can use it to put photos and decorate the pages on the back. They can write, or this could be just a plain notebook and you slide it over here and you tie it, and this will give it a little bit of more support and it won't be sliding out. My second pocket, I have a diagonal cut here. I have some tags that I haven't finished decorating. We all know how to make tags. This was just the leftover paint for um, the the butter that I'm in love with, and I use different stencils. So you create another pocket here, and I'm just gonna slide this one in here. And then you have a pocket here that goes diagonally. Whichever way you cut it, it's totally entirely up to you. This one I did cut from on this angle, but you could also cut it on this angle. Over here, I have a belly band. And in the belly band, I can go ahead and insert things that I want to send her. Ephemeras. I haven't created anything on this one. You can put a picture of a baby. You can use these for backing, and I'm adding some bling bling. This also can become this notebook that you make holder, and you just glue it onto the back. So then they can go ahead and use the pages here for journaling. Or if you don't want to glue it, you could just go ahead and slide it and have the belly band hold it for you. So when I close it from left to right and from right to left, the back becomes your front. And of course, I went ahead and I did some seam binding, and you're going to see another video that I made specially for you and how to color these. This was just plain white seam binding, and I went ahead and I used my distress inks, my ink pads. You can use any kind of ink, to be quite honest with you. You could use Stampin' Up! Ink pads. You can use the Tim Holtz or Ranger. You can use Lisa Horton. Any kind of um, ink pad. And of course, that they are water soluble. And you have to be careful when you're playing with your ribbon, of course, that you don't get it wet. This one, I went ahead and I colored it, and then after I colored it, I sprayed it because I wanted to crinkle it, and I got some beautiful designs. There is another video that I have made for you ladies specifically. Some of you may already know because we have different levels of crafters in this channel. You may already know how to color your ribbon, but I did make another one for those that may not know how to make it. So today, this is what we are going to be creating, and I'm already 11 minutes into the video. Um, you can also find me, and I will put lots of I post my videos there. I had to create this channel last month, or this Facebook group, because Facebook took away all of my videos and I lost a lot of them. Some I was able to recover and I'm still looking in my hard drives, but some I had not saved. So my Facebook page is Edna Crafts. You can also find me on YouTube at Edna Alvarado 2397. This is my email. I'm going to leave this right here for a second and I'm going to close it up in case you want to go ahead and take a snapshot of it. This picture from time to time will change. These were some dragonflies that I made, and I figure I put them on this little card that I made. So, when you go to Edna's Craft, you may see that my photo may change from time to time. This is my email address, and of course, this is a phone number that I can be reached at. Sometimes I shut down my phone, so do leave a message, and I will get back to you in 24 hours, at least 24 to 48 hours. So I hope you already took a picture of that. Today, you're going to be needing, and let me back up my my camera, you're going to be needing a 12 by 12 sheet. I've decided to take this one the same color on both ends. Now, ladies, I've recorded this video like 3 times and something has gone wrong. Hopefully, nothing goes wrong with this one. But this is where your cardstock, because you need something that is strong, because since you're doing a folio and you're going to be inserting things, you want to make sure that it's something that it's sturdy. This I'm using for today's purposes, this double-sided color, the same color cardstock, but you can use non-directional paper. And by non-directional cardstock, I mean that when you fold it up, either your pictures or your words uh, are readable the way you want them to read, unless you create your own. You know, we have a lot of crafty people here, and with mixed media, you can create a lot of beautiful paper. And you also want to be able to fold it this way and be able to see that the words or your pictures or the angle that the flowers are going, they are the right way. You don't want to have them upside down, because then, your album may not look all that good. So you're going to need the 12 by 12. You are going to need either double-sided tape or red liner tape. um, you are going to need some kind of wet glue. Today I'm going to be using just glue for video purposes, but when you want to create yours, you want to make sure that it's reinforced. Sometimes I use red liner tape and I use glue just as well. And you have to be patient for it to dry. You're going to need a ruler. I'm going to set this to the side. You are going to be needing a pencil. For decoration purposes, you can either use magnets or you can use Velcro. You're going to need a scoring tool. You're going to need a pair of scissors. And I'm going to set my scissors over here. I have a special place for everything. You're going to need a scoring board. If you're good with measurements, you don't have to worry about it. Some people buy scoring boards that have all the little increments. I'm one of those, even though that I have a little card that I'd be more than happy to share with everyone. I can't show it to you right now because I have it taped to my laptop. If you have problems with quarters, halves, inches, and so forth. So I have my well-used scoring board, and you're also going to need a punch if you decide to do your little notches for your pockets, and that is optional. You are going to need a corner rounder only if you're going, and again, this is optional. I'm going to set that to the side. And of course, you're going to need a trimmer. Disregard the bottom of my screen, please. Uh, anyhow, let me go ahead and let's get started in doing this wonderful cut. And let me tell you, these things can become very addictive. If you sit there and you have lots of paper to play with, um, believe me, you can cut these in a jiffy, and then just have them in your stash to decorate them at any point in time. So with my 12 by 12, I always make sure that it is, let me put this over there. I don't want it falling over here. That I always have it very close to the edge and the top on my scoring board. It's raised over here. My paper is not going to go anywhere. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you some um, score scoring numbers. Let me move this where you can see it and you can take a snapshot of it. Okay? Because I don't want my little man to get in the way. And every time I move um I move my camera, the little man comes up, and I'm not sure if you can see it in the video there or not. I think you can. Anywho, the first score that I'm going to be doing is, if you can take a snapshot of this. So, number one, you got a 12 by 12. Your first scoring line, it's going to be at 3. Let me bring this down a little. It's going to be at 3 and 3/4. And I made I don't have the light on, so you ladies can see possibly better. Did I square it at the right place? Yes, 3 3/4. And depending on the thickness of your paper, you may have to score it twice or just once. I do want to let you know that if you have thinner paper, designer paper, like Stamping Up has some of them. I don't know if you want to create one and then cut another one to glue on top. But that's totally entirely up to you, or just go ahead and decorate. So I did my first scoring at 3 3/4. The next scoring I'm going to do it is at 4, as you can see here. And then let me move this over. Then I'm going to score it at 8 and 8 1/4. Okay, I'm going to remove my little tag from there and set it to the side. And this is what you end up with. That's why I have the light off, so then that way you can see. So now I put my paper exactly where I have the score lines. What I want you to do is take your paper. I usually just do this and flip it once. Okay? So your lines, your scoring lines are going to be going that way. The next scoring that you're going to be doing after you flip your card, it's going to be at 1 3/4, and I'm going to leave that there. So you can take a snapshot of it or write it down. So at 1 3/4, let me bring this down, 1 3/4, and I'm going to go ahead and score it all the way down to the bottom. Whoops. And make sure that you don't have shaky hands like me and that you are in the right place. Since I didn't do it very hard, I was able to redo it. So I've created my first crease, and now the next one is going to be, excuse me, at 7 1/4. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to score this all the way down. Again, I made sure that my paper was right next to on the left-hand side, that it was all the way in. So then that way we get straight scoring lines. So I'm going to remove this from my screen. And this is what your paper is going to look like. You have a smaller crease here than you have, I believe is about 5 1/2 and 5 1/2. So I'm done with my scoring board. Let me go ahead and place it onto my desk for now. And as you can see, those are your score lines. The one thing that you want to do is, um, in one of the videos that I had posted in my group, for another group, I may have not folded it this way, but it depends how you like to create your fold. So I went ahead and I folded this towards me, and then I'm going to find my next creasing line. This is the time that you may want to burnish when you do your folds. Then I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to go ahead towards me. You can, again, use your fingers, use your nails, use your scoring tool, however you prefer it, and how you want to burnish it. And then I'm going to go to the next one. I like to press it that way and then, you know, just score it once. So I've created that little crease right there. All right. Then I'm going to go to my next scoring line. And again, I'm going to burnish it. And then I'm going to find my second one. Just run my fingers through and then I burnish it. And this is what I end up with. So as you can see, we have a 1/4 inch fold here and a 1/4 inch fold here. My smaller tabs are on the top and my bigger ones are on the bottom. So that way it would come like this. And this is the time that you want to go ahead. I'm going to show you one more cut, and then you can go ahead and either distress, and I will show you the album again. So here, We're going to start with the first one on the left. Again, the smaller tabs are on the top. I'm going to go ahead and let me open this. And you're going to use your scissors. Of course, you need a pair of scissors. And you can cut this, or you could use just, if you trust yourself, you can use your trimmer at this point in time. I'm going to flip it this way. The lighting here right now, it's horrible because I'm working in the dark. So I've gone ahead and I've clipped the 1/4 inch. I've taken it off the smaller tabs, and I'm going to do the same thing here, but I'm going to go to the first line. And then I'm going to go ahead, and this one right here that this little flap here, it has the little fold, but I cut on the first one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut straight through. Again, you can use your trimmer. If you trust yourself, you know, you don't need to. Now, save this because you're going to need it. But first, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim that section off, and I'm going to set it on the side here. Now that I've done that, and I folded my flaps down, this is what you're going to end up with. You can either clip it with your scissors, you know, as evenly as possible, or you could fold it like that and just trim it against the paper. Or if you want to use a trimmer and you trust yourself and you clip it off. So I don't need these two. These can go in the garbage, but then again, you could also save it to decorate an ATC card or stamp something on it. That's totally entirely up to you. So once we've done that, then we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to trim it to the first scoring line. If you trust yourself with the scissors and that you can cut straight, I don't cut straight, but I like to eyeball things, and you already have the scoring lines to guide you, and you want to make sure that you only take it to the top scoring line where the first fold is at. I'm going to do the same thing here, and hopefully the sun that's coming through the window doesn't stop coming in. So I've cut it to the crease, and then I'm going to cut the other side. So when I flip it around and I close this up, I end up with this. If you didn't cut it straight, this is what's going to happen. It's going to be so. You could always go back because that means I didn't take it to the crease. Okay. So now that I've taken it to the crease, look at what happens. It's more even. Okay. And I folded my top this way, my top this way, and my top this way. And I'm going to end up with this little strip. You want to trust yourself. I lift it and I snip, and I do the same thing on the top one. Again, these little pieces, you can either use them to decorate or you can trash them. I like to throw them in my scraps box. Okay, so now I flip it and it should look this way. So I have a small flap on the top and the second pocket. So this is your first. And you flip this one over. This is your second. But we're going to be doing something interesting with this one. And then you have this. So let's start with the first one. This is the time that you want to either round your corners, and you also want to create your little notches if you decide that that's what you want to do, if you're going to be inserting something here. If you're going to tie it like I did, the option is yours because you could always have the person remove the items and then they can use this as a pocket. The options on this pocket are really, really great. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a little notch. Really, I eyeball it. um, and I just snip it. You could use the die, it's totally entirely up to you. Um, Here is where you'll be placing your Velcro if you're going to be doing that. And be sure that your Velcro is close to the end here because you've already notched it. And you want to make sure that when you do the notch, you don't do it so deep. Otherwise, you will have to add something additional and then go ahead and put your Velcro. So, those are your options. Or you can glue half of the circle and then just fold this and slide it under, and this flap is removable. So this pocket has a lot of possibilities. The other thing that you can do is you can glue it here on this end or put glue on this one, so then that way you don't go beyond the amount where you're supposed to go. You can glue just the left side and keep this open so you can slide things in, and create a right hand side pocket. If you want to keep your left open, then you would put glue on this side, or this is where your double-sided tape or your red liner tape come handy, depending on the amount of things that you want to insert. You would add the red liner tape here if you want a left-hand side pocket. If you want a top pocket, then you can add your double-sided or your red liner tape and always reinforce it with some kind of glue. You want to make sure that it's wet glue because wet glue and I do know that the Mali sells tacky glue and she uses it a lot. Um, and then you go ahead and place it where you want it, and you've created your pocket. And I will show you that again on the one that I've done. So then we go to our second pocket. We're done already with our first pocket. We don't need to do anything. If you want to round your top, or if you don't, that's totally up to you. If you want to cut it in an angle and make it different from this one, the design is totally up to you. Now this card, this one, and let me take a white piece of paper so you can see what I'm going to do. And this is something that I didn't do in the other videos because I wanted to make sure um, that you can see what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm just placing a piece of copier paper. It's no big deal. Just so you can get an idea what the pockets look like. Okay, but I'm gonna do this one. This one is already done with. So your pocket number two. Your pocket number two, that's where your ruler or um your your ruler, you could do it on your own if you trust yourself. Eyeballing cuts on this pocket. Um I'm gonna go ahead and it depends how you want to create your pocket. You either want to cut it diagonally this way or you want to cut it diagonally this way. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this one, and you could do it at 1 inch. You could do it at 1.5, 1 3/4. That's totally entirely up to you. Okay, so I take my ruler and I'm going to do this one at 1.5 inch. No, 1 3/4. I put a little mark there that I can see, put a little dot. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here. I am going to go to the 1 1/4 mark, and I'm going to mark it right over here. Just put a little dot with your pencil. So I have a dot here. So there's 1.25 inches. Yes, 1.25 inches and 1.25 inches from the bottom right, and from the top left. One and a So now let me remove this for now. And this is where your cutting board comes into play. And you're going to cut your diagonal pocket. You can either do it this way or you could do it this way, depending how you want to insert. This one, I'm going to do it coming diagonally this way. So I'm going to get my scoring tool. I mean, my cutter. This is my score. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take, let me fold this down so it can be out of my way. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the little dot, the first dot I did, exactly right at the cutting crease, and the bottom one at the same crease. And when you do that, make sure that your flaps are out of the way. Almost sliced my other pocket. Oh my goodness. I'm getting so good at this that I just put it right in. So remember, it's on the crease there and it's on the crease there. And once you bring your slicer up, you are going to cut this out. I'm going to remove my trimmer and put it in a place that I can find it because I got a habit of hiding things. So let's flip it back the way it should be. Your small ones on the top and your big ones on the bottom. And this is my pocket here. So I ended up with this pocket like this. And you're going to say, oh my goodness, this doesn't reach. Yeah, well, it will. It will. So what I'm going to do now is, since I have my little creases, and as you can see, you have that little leadway, I'm going to go ahead, and this is the time that you either want to create a notch. I don't know if you want to round your corners because this pocket is going to be over here. So if you round that one, the choice is yours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, since I cut it in that angle, and I want to make sure that I am going to place it, and I'm going to be able to close my flap. And at the same time, I'm going to be able to put Velcro or magnets. The choice is yours. So then that way, this will have a diagonal pocket going from left to right on the bottom being smaller. And then this one, you can create your notch. I'm going to go ahead for the sake of it, and I'm going to eyeball my notch here, and I'm going to make a really tiny little one, just so I can be able to pull things in and out of the pocket. So, it's not that big. Again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place it here. And really in between here, you're going to notice, let me show you something. When you glue it, you're going to be gluing it on this side, on the opposite side, of course, and here. And it doesn't matter that it doesn't reach the bottom because you're going to be inserting stuff and this is going to cover it. And this will become a pocket just as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring it down, make sure that I measure my flap, that I'm going to have enough for the Velcro or the magnets, and that this crease here is not seen at the top of that. So you figure about an eighth of an inch is going to go over. So you want to go ahead and you want to glue this one. You can do one of two things, whichever is easier for you, because I'm gonna lift this and I'm gonna glue it. Ladies, I have spontaneous shakes, and sometimes it's very difficult. Um, for me, but I love crafting. Good days, bad days, it doesn't matter. I want to make sure that it's up there. I want to make sure that this closes. You can mark the top there and mark the top of the card there. You use pencil, you can barely see it. So, and that's where I'm going to start putting my pocket, and then that way I don't have to measure it again. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip it over with the notch facing me, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add just glue for now because it doesn't really matter. I will reinforce these. Okay, and you do both sides. So the notch is facing you. This is the reason why my glue is dry. So I'm going to take it to my pencil mark here on the left and on the right because I know there, and you're going to take it to your creases on the side here. I know that when I close this, I will be able to put Velcro on the top. And I know that when I make this pocket, you're not going to see it because I'm going over 1/8 of an inch. So then I glue this side and I glue this side. Again, here you want to use double-sided tape, red liner tape. As you can see, I flipped it towards me so I can add the glue. You know, some days I play with my glue and then I bring it up. And you know, when you're using wet glue, depending on the wet glue, you have the little bit of leadway that you can put your pin on your glue, or you can go ahead and uh, move it around. So here, let me see, let me take a tag out of here. So I've created this pocket here, and then I have the notch on the top one, and there is the other one. How you decorate it on the outside is totally entirely up to you. Um, Whatever you want to add on there. So now that we've created the second pocket, we are going to go to our third panel. Okay, here, as you can see in what I showed you here, let me undo this again. You can either create a belly band, or you can create a waterfall, or you can create a place to put photos. That's totally entirely up to you. Let me. So I have a belly band that I can put on this side here. But before I do that, let me just work with the belly band. The belly band, the measurements that I have here, disregard some of the scoring because I was playing around. It's 6.5 by 2. So it's 6.5 and it's 2 inches this way. You can create your belly band whatever size you want. This is the opportunity that you can also, if you want to reinforce your belly band, you can use ribbon, you know, to make it more durable. Then I scored it on both ends at 1/2 inch. And that's where you're going to fold it here. And that's where you're going to fold it here. You're going to put double-sided tape or red liner tape here and on this side, and you're going to put it from top all the way to the bottom. And I made it in 2 colors so then that way you can see where your belly band is going to go. So again, the measurements for the belly band, some of us already know how to make belly bands, but I created this one to be 6.5 by 2, and you score it on each side at 1/2 inch. Okay? So once I'm done with that, you're going to glue it from here to here, and you're going to flip this up or under, whichever one. Okay, so you created your belly band. You're going to take the flap, and instead of bringing it up, you're going to bring it to the back, and you're going to fold this over to the left. Mm. So now, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to flip it a little bit because it's easier for me to do. Please excuse me. You can either mark your center if you want with a pencil. I don't. I eyeball everything. Like I said before, I'm going to take my flap from the right to the left, and I'm going to bring it exactly to the edge to match up the bottom. Where's my scoring tool? Please excuse my cough. I don't want to have to cancel this video to redo it again. I've done it so many times. So I used my scoring tool there. So I brought my flap down. I brought it to the edge, and right there, excuse me, I created a pocket. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open it all the way. Here you can put, and I'm not opening it completely, just at half full, because this is what you're going to end up with. So you have this panel here, then the fold exactly down the middle to the bottom, and you end up with this. So you can use your red liner tape and put it on this side and this side with your glue to reinforce it. You could use wood glue, you can use tacky glue. The choice is yours. And then once I've done that, for the sake of this, I'm just gonna use glue because I'm gonna reinforce this anyways. At some point, if it comes loose, that will be my opportunity. Since I'm using just very small amount of glue, um, it will lift if you're not using strong glue. Now, make sure that I rescore my lines so then that way, they're not lifted and they're nice and pretty. So I did that. So now I have my pocket and I have this little flap here because I've only glued the back. Sometimes you have to hold it for a couple of minutes to glue. Since I intend to put red liner tape, I'm not worried about that. So I'm going to lift up my leftover flap and I'm going to create a pocket. And this is where your little top card comes into play because it's going to be sliding from here. And you could create your tag or a message, a hidden message, whatever you want to do. All right. So that's why I said do not throw your little piece away. This one here, you can use your red liner tape or you could use a double-sided. You could use your tacky glue, wood glue, whatever your glue of preference is that you want to make sure that it stays strong and sturdy. And I'm just going to add glue on the top to bottom, right, only on half of the card, just the bottom half. And then I'm going to do from left to right, the bottom section. Okay, again, let me just leave that there. I don't want to lose my pen. And with wet glue, you have time. Okay, I'm going to bring it down. It's at the edge where I wanted it. This one is already pretty much glued in. Again, I'm going to be redoing these because these things become very addictive. And here we go. So here is your little pocket. You see it? And you can take your top panel and create your little private message or journal. And you do the tab of your tag if you want to. And here is your little TriFold multi-pocket folio. So again, options with this one. I really, really, really like that one. You can either glue it on the left and use this as a pocket to insert um card, a plain card, decorated, or you can use it to insert a journaling card. This one, it so happens it goes pretty nice, so you can slide from there. Or you can do what I did with this one. I left it open and freely, and I went ahead and I put Velcro, and I took everything and I wrapped it with organza ribbon to stay sturdy. So then that way, when she opens it this way, things aren't sliding out. That's the reason why I put the ribbon. Okay, so those are your options for that side, or you can take baby pictures or anniversary pictures, birthday, whatever message you want to create. And then here, of course, we have this one that I sort of kind of decorated. That's where you either put your Velcro or you use your circle and you tap it and you put more cards or pictures of your baby or a special message, um, or you put more design bottles, whatever you like, decorating it to keep it uniform. So, your flowers, I'm a flower girl. And then, of course, your belly. Okay, so I showed you the belly band to place here, and I did it in a different color. And again, don't mind these markings because I'm gonna be scoring all the way up to here and all the way up to here. That's something that is up to you if you want to go ahead and create a little bit of design, or if you want to keep it just as a flat piece of paper, or if you want to go ahead, I mean cardstock, or if you want to reinforce it with ribbon. And then you glue it. On this side, you put red liner tape at your half-inch score mark, and you glue it down and center it, of course. So as you can see, we have the little tap that we cut from here. It became a tag from down here. So how you decorate it is entirely up to you. Let me tell you these things. You can sit there and take cardstocks of different color, cut them up, and then just decorate them for any occasion that you want. And believe me, these things can become very, very addictive. In the other video that I did, I went ahead and you're gonna see I did it without gloves. I did a video on how to color your seam binding. I usually keep my seam binding in the plastic bag, and then when I'm using it, I'm pulling it from here. So then that way it's not all over my desk. Um, you're gonna need 18 inches at least, for the tie of the outside of your album. And the one thing that I want to remind you is that when you do your trifold, you're going to take your left and move it over to your right. And this panel becomes the front cover of your little folio. You can decorate these with hairpins if you like. Um, they sell them at the dollar stores, any dollar store, neighborhood dollar store. Um, you can take a hairpin and go ahead and slide it in there and then put a dangle from here. Um, you all know how to decorate these things. You can create paper clips. You can buy these clips and create dangles on them or decorate them and put beads. I'm not gonna go into detail on that because we're all crafty. We all know what to do. And I'm gonna go ahead and insert my little bottle that I made with a perfume. And these are gonna go right back in here. I still have work to do on here. This here with the belly band is a great opportunity if you're gifting somebody a small stamp set. You can add that there. So again, I'm gonna close it from left to right. And my last flap, I'm gonna bring it over from right to left. And then you put your ribbon and you end up with your little um, pockets. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, I have this white seam binding, and this is what I use to color, and I just drop them in a bag. I use it to make bows, and as you can see in the video, the next video, this is the one that I colored with using just the distress, not the oxide. And then I Frenched it so to create a little bit something for one of my tags or um, so you can color any kind of ribbon that is white using your ink pads to match whatever it is that you are creating. And before you start decorating, as you can see, and I want to show you here, I've went ahead and I've distressed the whole album all the way around. You want to do your pockets before you glue them down. You want to do the same thing here. So this is all preparation for emphasizing, your work. So this is back in here because I'm not done with it. I'm just gonna take this over here, and that's what it looks like. Sort of kind of made it. And there you go, the non-directional paper. Um, I'm gonna take these things and put them in here because all that is going in there. And I look forward in seeing you in the Molly's group. Um, Also, don't forget to go and subscribe into my channel, which is at Alvarado 2397. That's my YouTube channel. You will see I believe it's a picture of myself. I don't remember right now. Anyhow, my hair is up in a bun. There are many Ednas Alvarado there, so you must use the 2397 in order to find me and go to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like when you see the videos. And don't forget to ring the bell and make sure that it has the little checking of all. So then that way, whenever I go live with Crafty Friends or I am doing uh, bingo or I'm crafting, doing something for somebody's channel specifically, I will post it on there and you get to see it just as well. So I look forward in seeing you in my Facebook group, which is Edna Crafts. Be sure to look me up on Facebook. I just opened up that group about a month ago. I'm trying to rebuild it and close my other one because they've gone a complete different direction. My videos were gone, and I am rebuilding this specific Facebook channel just for crafting. So, alrighty. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know the class has gone for an hour. Don't Be sure to look in my channel for the video of how to ink your ribbon or your seam binding, and I'll see you soon. Have a blessed day. Enjoy the rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.